sophomore here at Stern studying finance and management with a minor in the business of entertainment, media, and technology. I'm from the West Village cohort. And I'm really excited to be here today to talk to you guys about academics here at Stern. So I was in your guys' shoes about 2 years ago, and to be honest, I was a little afraid of studying business because I didn't want to just study business. In high school, I loved a lot of different subjects, and I didn't want to limit myself. I wanted, a well-rounded education. And one of the best things about Stern is that you don't have to sacrifice that. You have to take 20 credits outside of the business school. So for me, I love theater. I take classes in Tisch and directing. If you like French, you can do a double major in French. In addition to that, what I was really surprised to learn is that you never just study business. Because business is everything. I mean, if you're interested in the entertainment industry, you can go into the entertainment industry. If you're interested in healthcare or technology, we need people in business. And in addition to that, all these subjects like marketing, completely interdisciplinary. You need to be able to speak. You need to be able to write well. You need to know a little bit about psychology so you can go relate to people. And so if you like everything, if you like anything, study business because you can apply that in a really practical way. So when I finally got to Stern, I wasn't sure about what to concentrate in. I found finance because I really like quantitative studies, but I was really surprised to find that I love management. I had this super positive professor, Elizabeth Howard, who was like 4 months pregnant and was just coming in every day, would meet with us after class. And what I really loved about the subject, and a lot of the classes here at Stern, is that they're really hands-on and you can experience stuff as opposed to just hearing about it all the time. Of course we have lectures, every school has lectures, but you also get to experience things. So for example, like 2 weeks ago, my managing innovations professor came out. She had 10 envelopes, and she said, okay guys, in these envelopes is money, for your seed money for your company. Get into groups of like 5 or 6 people, and by next week's class, have an idea, a service or a product, and enact it or sell it in 2 hours. Whoever makes the most amount of money wins, which is awesome. So we went out and we ended up selling donuts, which was like very goofy. But we used behavioral economics, and we used game theory and design thinking to create a unique pricing structure, and we ended up making like $60 in profit, which is a ton of fun. So yeah, with that, academics here at Stern are incredible. You have classmates and teachers that want to challenge you but also support you. And in addition to the depth of Stern, you also have the breadth of all of NYU. So with that, I'd like to pass it on to my friend, Matt DeMichael, to speak about the global and the local experience here at Stern.
Thanks, Mariana. And again, my name is Matt DeMichael. I'm also a sophomore studying marketing with a minor in the business of entertainment, media, and technology. I'm just going to talk to you guys a little bit about what my experience has been like, not only in New York, but abroad. So I'll start with New York, and as I was researching schools not too long ago, one thing that really struck me was how connected to the real world Stern actually is. When you do the tours of all of the schools, everything's in a gated campus, and everything kind of feels like it's in its own bubble in a small town. There's nothing really going on except for college life. But Stern is definitely not the case. There's really no boundaries here between Stern buildings and regular office space, and that's something that really struck me as something I wanted to be a part of. And then I came to NYU Welcome Week immediately, just as I expected, thrust right into that real world experience, and it was incredible. I can remember Welcome Week, everyone in the freshman class getting on the subway, taking the subway up to Central Park to Field Day, just running around playing tug of war relay races. It was a lot of fun, and that was really the moment for me where I thought, yeah, I can definitely see myself doing this for the next 4 years. And then, throughout the academic year, you're constantly reminded about why being in New York is such an amazing opportunity. Just to give you an example, so as it says, I'm business of entertainment media, and in my sports marketing class, I'm currently taking, we have a great professor named Steve Nasser, currently works at Nielsen in their sports analytics department. So companies will come to him with a strategy proposal. Hey, we're currently sponsoring the NBA. We want to know if sponsoring the NCAA is the right move. And so he'll show them the analytics and tell them if it's a good idea or not. And so he'll come into class and he'll tell us about different things that he's currently doing, but he'll also bring in people who work in different segments of the sports industry. So as another example, we had a group of guys come in, NYU graduates, who currently work in the NFL. One of them is the director of events for the NFL, and he walked us through the process of the NFL draft, because this is the first year that the NFL is moving away from Radio City and they're going to Chicago. So he walked us through the whole strategy behind that, how they were going to market it, how they were going to set up, they have different booths going on for different drafts and stuff. And that was really cool. And then one thing that he said that really struck out to me, which I still think about all the time, is he even said to us, and this is an NYU graduate, he said, the one thing that really was amazing to me was I felt like I was cheating the system being in New York City for the fall and the spring. Because, summer internships are incredibly competitive. Everyone from college comes back to New York and they're looking for summer internships. But then once the fall and the spring rolls around, they all go back to their campuses while we're still here in New York. And that is such an amazing opportunity for everyone looking, to get an internship. And then in addition, there's so much stuff you can do on your own as well that I do. For instance, one of the things that I enjoy doing is going to live music to go see concerts. And there's definitely no shortage of live concerts in New York, I can guarantee you that. And so I always go to concerts all the time, Webster Hall, Radio City. One of the things my sister and I like to do when she's around is we like to go to concerts together, but she goes off to her campus school and I'm still here, so every now and then I'll send her Snapchats of my concert tickets. And it's also not a bad place to bring girls on dates either, so that's awesome. And then moving on from New York, I got to go study abroad last semester. I was in Florence, and studying abroad in Florence was the best 4 months of my life. I could literally spend this whole weekend on the square telling you about how great my experience in Florence was, but I'll try and keep it brief. The first thing is that the academics, it's just as on par with the Stern curriculum in New York. It's just the same in Florence. So I got to take financial accounting and marketing. It's the same exact class that you take in New York, but you're taking it in Florence. And then you also have the opportunity to take any other classes that you're interested in. So I supplemented my business education with Italian and this class called the Etruscans. Didn't know much about Etruscans, took it on the recommendation of a friend of mine who went the year before, said you should take Etruscans, and it was one of the most interesting classes I've ever taken in NYU. The guy who taught us currently owns or operates his own excavation site. He took us to the sites where we got to go explore caves. I've never learned so much about an ancient civilization that I did in the Etruscans. It's probably more knowledge that I know about the Etruscans than any I should. Having said that, if anyone wants to stop by and see me in the lobby afterwards, I'd be more than happy to talk to you guys about funerary urns. I'd love to talk to you guys about that. And then, in addition, the traditional things you think about when you think about studying abroad, I got to travel to London, Barcelona, different cities throughout Italy. It was a great experience, and that's just important as your traditional education, because learning how to navigate transportation in a different language, traveling through airports on your own, that's all vital information that you need to be an independent person. And having gone through that myself, I can guarantee I'm definitely a more independent and much stronger person than I was before studying abroad. And the whole time you have such a great community of friends and people that are there to support you. I'll turn it over to Adarsh, who is going to talk more about that.
Thanks, Matt. So I think that here at NYU and here at Stern, we're actually pretty lucky, because as Stern students, you have access to resources both at NYU but also at Stern. So I think I'll start by talking a little bit about sort of the NYU community at large. Here at NYU, you're going to meet a ton of people, both in Stern as well as outside of Stern. I've made some of my best friends through the residential life community, through the floor that I lived on, through the hall that I lived in. And NYU organizes a ton of events that, and specifically residential life organizes a ton of events that we've been able to go to. Trips to the Met, to Guggenheim, to the Yankee Stadium to watch a Yankees game. So there are just a ton of things going on and a ton of opportunities to take advantage of. As I've already mentioned as well, I met some of my greatest friends there, and it's obviously been a pivotal part of my experience. As well as at NYU, there are also over 400 clubs to be a part of, and if there's something you like out of those 400, you can always start your own. So I've had the chance to be a part of the debate society, traveling across the US to compete at tournaments, and that as well has been a great opportunity, because there is the social component of getting to hang out with debate friends, but also the fact is that I've gotten to actually compete at tournaments in the US as well. But I know you guys are also more interested in the Stern community, so I'll talk a little bit about that. Here at Stern, we just have a phenomenal community. Student Council is a prominent force at Stern. They organize a ton of events. Just on Thursday night, there was a Stern semi-formal, and it is so widely attended that tickets sold out in a matter of minutes, if I'm not mistaken. The Inter-Club Council at Stern also hosts a ton of events. They actually oversee the club system, and the club system is a really crucial part of the Stern experience. Not only is there an academic and a professional aspect to the clubs at Stern, but there's also a very, very important social aspect. Here at Stern, I've had the chance to be a part of the International Students Association, where I've gotten the chance to explore various cuisines of the world and get a taste of various restaurants around New York City with my friends from the International Students Association, and learn what all these international cultures that make up the student body are really about. So that's been great. But I think my favorite aspect of community at Stern would have to be the International Studies program. And I know you've heard Dean Witt talk about it, you heard it in the video. IST is truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Just 4 weeks ago, I was in Lisbon, Portugal with 200 friends, or at least, they weren't all my friends coming in, but they're now all my friends. And we had a great time. For all the students in the room, we're staying at the same hotel every night, we're all bonding together, we're all taking part in the same local market immersion. For the parents in the room, we did do the company aspect of the trip as well. We got to visit headquarters, learn from the companies that we've been researching all trip long, and we're currently in the process of formulating a strategic recommendation. So, I can go on and on about sort of the aspects of community here at Stern, but there are just too many. I think the final thing I want to touch upon today is professional development, which is a very important part of Stern as well. I don't know what everyone has heard, but Stern has a wonderful collaborative culture in terms of the fact that there are staff, there are other students, there are members of the administration, there's professors who are all looking out for you and who all want to help you get to where you want to achieve. I know personally, seniors were very helpful during my junior year recruiting process, which I just went through. They helped me fix my resume, they helped me polish my technical skills, they helped me learn how to interview, and all of these were very important skills as I went through the process. As you guys are probably aware by now, Stern students are very, very prepared to enter the workforce. 88% of students hold part-time jobs or internships during their time at Stern, and 98% hold or get placed into a full-time job or grad school upon graduation. I believe that number might have been 97% last year, so assuming that the pattern continues, by the time you guys graduate, it'll be over 100%. And I think the fact is that through taking classes in business school, as Ariana sort of mentioned, the breadth as well as the depth, I've sort of been able to really figure out what I want to do, and I've taken classes accordingly. I'm very, very lucky to have the opportunity to work this coming summer at Credit Suisse in their investment banking division. And I think part of what's made this possible is the fact that literally I live a few blocks away from the office. So I haven't even had my first day on the internship yet, but I have met a ton of people from the firm due to the fact that I literally can walk to the office. And I know a lot of my friends as well have taken advantage of all of the opportunities to meet firms across the city, and you'll get the exact same opportunity to do so if you attend Stern. That being said, I'd like to hand it back off to Dean Menon. And one more thing, just a reminder that the Stern Street team will be leading walkthroughs later this afternoon, so please come and check out the Tisch Hall. Thank you very much.